Right, so in theory, I'm streaming to YouTube, and hypothetically, I'm streaming to Twitch as well. Although, I don't know if that ever works. Let me just visit twitch.tv. So, I'm not even logged in. Great. Oh, that's okay. Right. Hello, people. How you doing? Apparently, I need to prove that I'm not a robot. I'm not. Yeah, can everyone hear me all right? Is everyone getting the stream all goods? Do I get to my probably dashboard's probably the right one. Pre-recorded. Nope. Okay, there we go. Got the Twitch chat up and we'll pop out chat. Pop out. There we go. Alright, I got Twitch chat just in case, which is working, which is always nice. And then, yeah, YouTube chat. So feel free to use whichever you want, because YouTube will inevitably crap out. But yeah, how's everyone doing? How's your week been? Anything interesting tech-wise happen? People watch on Twitch. How odd. Apparently there are 2 viewers, so hello you 2 that are watching on Twitch. YouTube isn't that up to date. Don't know how many are watching. Give it another year on YouTube, you won't be. Yes, I do like the idea of greybeard TechteamGB. Twitch is pretty good, surprisingly only like a second or less lag. That's pretty good, and down from a couple of seconds last week, which is nice. That's it, yeah, pretty good at building a basic NAS for NAS stuff. Nice. Yeah, cool. What sort of stuff you putting in? And what sort of stuff you're using? Also, I should probably say hello to everyone, so hello Mystic Orange, hello Ish, hello Super User, hello Mislav, and obviously hello Acted. Is there anyone else I missed? I think it was just Super User, Ish, and Mislav going ham early in the chat. Like a mouse. With their interesting connections. Liam Roberts, hi, how you doing? How's your week been? Anything interesting tech happen? I've heard good news. I'm getting the Ryzen 2700 non-X and 2600 non-X tomorrow. So that is awesome. I'll do a review of probably both of them together. Maybe, we'll see. But then I will also yeah, be potentially doing some other videos with them. The most annoying thing about that is that I didn't know they were coming until I got a text from BHL saying they're coming. So I've already finished the streaming video for the Ryzen 2 2600Xs compared to an 8700K. Although I'm not too worried about that, because the non-X versions of those chips are just downclocked versions, really, with slightly less XFR. So yeah, fine. Starman, how you doing? I wouldn't be without my Synology server. Nice. What do you use it for? Do you use a lot of the apps that they offer, or is it more kind of just basic NAS stuff? And yeah, what parts are you using for your NAS? What sort of drives are you using as well? Liam, doing very well. Been building my new PC, finishing it this weekend. Can't wait. Nice one. What sort of parts are you using for your new gaming PC? So yeah, 2700 and 2600, both non-X chips, will be here tomorrow. But actually, the video that I finished today was testing the 2700X with 3400 megahertz RAM versus 2133 and seeing what the performance difference is. Does anyone want to guess in the chats how much, like, as a percentage difference, what the biggest percentage difference was with 3400 megahertz RAM versus 2133? Let me know in the chat. Who's this guy? Hi, Al Jory. I apologize if I said your name wrong. I'm glad you enjoy the show. Not sure that's how percentages work, Ish. Starman, you're not too far off, but it's more. Not really server grade, just building with doing super cheap, so an i5 4690K and some WD red drives. Fair play. I take it the i5 is an old chip from an older system. Super user, you are very close. Very close. There was one that had that 15%. Liam's system is an AT700K 16 gig DDR4 3200 MHz Maximus 10 Hero H115i 960 Evo SSD and a Strix 1080 Ti OC. That's an impressive build, man. Nice. Thumbs up. So if you're going by the percent, 17.4% in GTA 5. And that's not like a one-off, I ran 5-minute benchmarks multiple times per game per run. That's how much, in this specific scenario, that's how much of a difference the RAM speed affects Ryzen CPUs. So that's impressive, if nothing else. I get the feeling that someone is going to message me and tell me that they need admin rights to my Discord. But does super user win a shout out for the closest guess? I mean, is this Price is Right rules? I mean, he can happily have a shout out indeed. There we go. Supermarket sweep, indeed. What do we get? Praise our new corporate overlords. Next Saturday-ish to reply to the Discord on the live stream. I suppose that's probably a good time to tell you. The next Tech FEQ, which I know I've missed a couple, is because of the Ryzen launch. I was intending on doing some vidjazz over the weekend, but I changed that, so that's not happening. But yeah, so the next Tech FEQ won't be this weekend either, but will be next weekend and will be sponsored by World of Warships, because no, I mean, I know a couple of people. Watson, you have played World of Warships, but you play World of Tanks, right? Am I getting that right? He won't Microsoft develops his eyebrows. Oh right, okay. I read the chat, so like I kind of miss what like certain messages, and then when I then read like the most recent message, I'm like, wait, what? And then I have to reread down, and I'm also an incredibly like slow and just generally terrible reader, so yeah, so yeah, I mean, people do play the game, and yeah, it's the usual. You've seen it on, you know, literally every YouTuber, including Linus actually, who, you know, do these sorts of sponsor segments. So should be alright. Actually, make sure you're following me on Twitter if you want to be a part of the Tech FAQ in general, just the actual video. That will be your favorite gaming headset, or like the best gaming headset. Obviously, it's kind of all your opinion, but I thought that'd be a nice one considering how many headsets I've tested recently. So yeah, and also just to see, kind of give people an idea of what sort of headsets are good right now, and also the sort of points that you should look at when you're looking for a gaming headset. So yeah, that should be good. Hi Kev, how you doing? Since we're talking about shoutouts, first of all, apparently, you know, giveaway, right? You should check out Super User Tech Mods in the chat. He does cool stuff. Feel free to check him out. But most importantly, because Kev is a patron, and because he's nice anyway, you should definitely check him out. He's ClickTech UK in the chat. He does tech videos. I think he's actually closing on 2,000 subscribers. I think it's at 1,990 or something. So if you feel free to go subscribe, and yeah, get him over 2K. Hello. Also, hi F7. How you doing? You should also check his channel out. He does cool stuff. I fear we may slightly disagree on a certain review, but we can talk about that privately if you want. 5 away now, right? Well, only 5 people need to go subscribe. Come on, just 5 of you. How many people are even watching, guys? I don't have YouTube up. I know that 6 people are watching on Twitch, which, hello to you Twitch people. Feel free to leave a note in the chat. I have it open. We are looking. We are watching. I actually now own Prey. I didn't until relatively recently, so I do have to install that. Yeah, so I can't tell. Killer whale. It begins with a R. Oh yeah, no, yeah, I remember. I was like, I thought you were talking about the company, not the product. Yeah, I get you. Yep. Nice one, Mr. Grunge. Liam Roberts, 13 YouTube. What do you mean, man? 13 watch on YouTubes. Nice. And Super User needs 300 for 2,000, so a little bit further away. Also, Starman, 13 watching. Right, got you. That's a bit lower than the usual, although it's only started, so it kind of, people take ages to actually turn up to the stream. Like the other Liam. Apologies. Health ain't great. So yeah, Starman, to reply to your earlier comment about how's my knee, it's mostly okay. It kind of comes and goes, but yeah, it's the whole body. So yeah, it's not been terrible this week from what I can remember, although it kind of all rolls into one, which is kind of terrible. So but yeah, I've not been in the wheelchair this week, if that's any consolation, although I have had to cycle somewhere as opposed to walk, because I can't. So yeah. The other thing is I have a stomach problem called erosive gastritis, where the stomach lining basically gets worn away too quickly, and so that then burns my stomach. The acid burns the stomach and creates a ulcer, which hurts a hell of a lot, and technically if it bursts, it's very difficult to stop that from bleeding. So unless my body stops it from bleeding, I can quite literally bleed out into my own intestines and die. So that's fun. But currently it is flaring, if you like, with just incredible sickness. So the thing that I was eating earlier was anti-acid tablets to help stop that. So yeah, fun times. We'll see. F7, we'll say, bought another 120mm fan to match it, and it was different fitting, so not a clue with some of their fan fittings. Interesting. I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that as an issue, although I didn't use aftermarket fan, like non-included fans with it, but they didn't look out of spec to me. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Oh, update, I purchased Windows this week. Nice one, congrats. Thanks, Ish. Also, Ish, your hypothesis on content creation is very interesting. So RJ, I hope that kind of answers the question, your question, which is mixed, mentally not great, but physically stomach terrible, joints okay. And JD Fighter, one from Switzerland, nice one. Glad you can join us. If anyone has any tech related questions, by the way, this they normally like start to kind of come out, but feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll get to them when possible. Because that's kind of the point of the stream, is A, chatting to you guys for an hour, but also, you know, answering anyone's tech questions as best as possible. Yeah, it was connecting the same looking fan to the AIO hub. They were the same fitting to the other Aura's RGB kit though. Interesting. Liam Roberts, would you say delidding is a must at 5 GHz for the 8700K? It would help a lot. So even at stock, obviously it does boost to 4.7 on its own, although I think it's about 4.5 all core. Even with a crazy, you know, like a good CPU cooler like the H150i Pro, that sort of cooler is perfectly capable of cooling it. It's just the IHS and Tim really kind of minimized its ability to do so. So yeah, it can be a pretty big issue. Even at stock temperatures, the temps are pretty high, so it kind of depends on how much you're willing to run it, how hot you're willing to run it. Yeah, you may be able to get away with it if you have, I mean, you've got an H50i, so it should be okay, but at the same time, Have you seen the Aerocool Quartz RGB case? I think it looks worth a review. I haven't. Did Aerocool? No, it was Deepcool that emailed me. I don't work with Aerocool currently, but yeah. Where have you, man? I know we just seem like subs, but we care. Thanks, RJ. Hi Martin, how you doing? Body transplant, but get an English one. Thanks, Starman. What do you think of Jim Keller joining Intel, maybe to help with new Tim? So Jim Keller joining Intel was actually pretty interesting, considering that he wasn't at Tesla for that long. I wonder if it's probably okay. Hypothetically, it could have been, let's go to do this job so that I can go work for this other company without having garden leave for like 5 years. But yeah, it's interesting. The specific quote that I saw was he's joining Intel to revitalize their CPU innovation, basically, which I wonder if the first thing that they're going to put him on is fixing stuff like Spectre and Meltdown, because that's fun. But Otherwise, I'm not entirely sure how much of an effect he has, just because of how big an organization is and how many people go into building and designing CPUs in general. So I'm not entirely sure. We'll kind of have to wait and see, really. One just built 2200G iTech system. Bugger is getting a discrete AMD GPU to run with it. Really? I haven't specifically tried a discrete GPU with the APUs. I actually don't have the APUs anymore. They were in systems and then they were sent back, so I don't have them anymore. So I can't even test that or give any sort of advice or assistance there, but yeah. What do you think about Greg Salazar potentially getting sued by the subject of one of his videos, Andy? So that's, what's the face? Yeah, Salazar, like Science Studio or something. Can you enlighten me? I don't personally watch his channel, so I can't. Although I think I do follow him on Twitter, so I've seen that, but I don't know many details of it. Can you just enlighten me on what he did and who's threatening to sue him? I can't explicitly remember. Ish on Twitch. So someone managed to manage really high gigahertz on a 2700X LN2. Can we get close on a closed water loop, or does it really require a big voltage increase, making too much heat for a normal cooler? Because my 1700X doesn't clock much at all. It doesn't seem to be a thermal issue. So no, it's definitely, like, for the Ryzen chips, thermals aren't a massive issue. I would definitely say that the architecture and the voltage and stuff like that are really the main differentiating factors. I can't say for sure because I actually can't remember what the voltage they used was, but I would expect that the voltage that they're using is fairly high. I would also mention that most of those really high gigahertz runs are on single cores with all the other cores disabled, which means that it's a lot more stable, if nothing else, and draws a lot less power than your standard your standard chip, and if you're doing a single core overclock, then you can really push a lot of stuff. So yeah, it'd be an interesting one to test, really. The only thing that I can think of that may be an issue there is that the one of the potential problems that you have with having that many transistors and that many tracks for the electrons to pass through so close to each other is called electron migration, where they jump from one track to another, which can cause flipped bits and can cause basically crashes and potentially damage to the architecture if it jumps the wrong way, basically. So I would potentially submit to you the idea that with LN2 you may be able to with those temperatures be able to basically make the electrons less likely to jump tracks, although I'm no physicist, and I'm mostly talking out of my ass, but that would be my first thoughts. But yeah. Yeah, that was kind of what I was attempting to say without having any understanding of what the hell I'm talking about. I mean, hypothetically, because they have less energy-ish. Yeah, but yeah. He does a series where he picks out ridiculous used PC sales ad. Guy posted a crazy rig on Craigslist for a stupid price. Greg did a video on it saying nice build, but the price is wrong. Plus, the way the ad was written is pretty naff too. Guy doesn't have leg to stand on. Greg did it out wrong. Yeah, so in that context, do you know if it was a business seller? Like, is it a business that feels wronged and feels like their brand image has been tarnished because of his video? Or is it just a person? Because that will make a fairly big difference in if there's any threat or actual threat or not. Because if it's business, then they can technically, like, that's technically, I would say, especially in America, more likely to go through at very least, or like be heard if nothing else. But yeah, if it's an individual, then they may not be able to afford lawyers' fees, for example. So yeah, I mean it's stupid that he would think about it. Small business, interesting. So I mean, small business, I could see how they could feel, very wronged, because this is, oh, this idiot on the internet is making fun of me and my business ads. So I can see where the small business guy is coming from, but yeah, I would say that small businesses already are generally pretty cash strapped, and so I doubt he can afford the lawyers necessary. So yeah. It's all on Twitter. Apparently the threat comes from the owner of a business. The guy doesn't seem very bright though. Probably just wanting attention. Yeah, I mean, it's what do you call it? It's free publicity for him, in a sense. Hi Mohammed, how you doing? I got a copyright strike in January, and the company that submitted it to YouTube tried to blackmail me into paying them to remove the strike. I've got 2 weeks left for the strike, then it's removed. That's naff. And yeah. Business guy who tells people to go buy a rebuilt from Walmart and cry when it breaks after 6 months. Right? There was no defamation, as he backed it with prices of matching new parts, so wasn't just shaming out with backup. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, fair play. I mean, I can understand why you would want to, why Greg would do that sort of video, and I would say that it's a relatively silly move for the business owner to consider being an arse. But hey, that's just a theory, a tech theory, more legal theory really, but or psychology. Anyway, I will have a look after the stream. Can I play at 4K? I have a 7700K, 32 gigs of RAM, and a ASUS Strix 1070. Yeah, I don't see why not. You would probably want medium settings, but yeah. And as Wapted says, it depends on what you're playing. If you're playing, I don't know, Battlegrounds, ultra settings, it's going to be pretty slow. But if you're playing Fortnite, you could probably play Fortnite on epic settings with a 1070. Okay. But yeah, you can always just turn down the settings and get a bit of a better gameplay experience. Or World of Warships. There will also be a Twitter ad for World of Warships, by the way, just to let you know. Hi, other Liam. As my friend told me he wants to build a PC for around $700. Any recommendations? Probably Ryzen like 1300 and 1050. Ooh. League of Legends. Nice. Super user, I believe Martin does. I don't really like giving anything access to my YouTube channel, so and I don't really I didn't see any massive benefits for it, so nice one, Neil. Also, hello, Neil. Sorry I didn't say hello earlier. Your comment got slid up the charts. Liam, 1050 or 1050 Ti, 8 gigs of RAM probably, maybe 16 if you can, and ideally something like a 120 gig SSD and then a 1TB hard drive if you can afford it. A decent brand 450 watt power supply, 500 if it's cheaper to get that, and whatever case you want. Fair play, Kev. RX 500 series, a 560 is okay. If you can get one, sure, but generally pricing wise, the 1050 Ti is generally your better position there. And also I think slightly faster. Fair play, super user. Any off-brand 300 watt power supply will do. They make pretty good IEDs. Yes, evening Neil. I am mixed, really sick, like literally throwing up constantly. Joints are okay today. Bit sore. Hi Joe, how you doing? How's your week? Any interesting techie bits? Bucket on standby. Yes there is. Legit. Yeah. Been a busy old week, how about you? Yeah, pretty busy. I've been doing, as I mentioned earlier, Ryzen RAM testing, 3400 megahertz versus 2133. That's been good. As we spoke about earlier, actually surprisingly big differences. Nice one, super user. There's a couple. Yeah, also Ryzen 2700X versus 2600X versus 8700K in gaming and streaming, and there's actually some really interesting results there. It was all at 1080p, and Ryzen actually came out above the 8700K in 1080p gaming in a certain game, which is impressive, considering that 1080p gaming was really meant to be the downfall of Ryzen last gen. So yeah, oh, cool to see. In World Warships. No, not quite. I haven't got my press account yet. Did I tell you that I got a press account that's like fully loaded? You get literally everything. It could be fun to play. Just got a 2700 2700X. Nice one. Yes, Wapted? Yes, they are. my guess is that they'll probably remove my access to the press account after the ad spot is done. But then they also may do recurring ad spots, so yeah. Do you need to end your videos with me hearties now? Not quite, not yet. Need an eye patch first. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. Thank you for reiterating your question, Liam. I actually don't know. I've been kind of out of it for gaming. I mean, I finished Far Cry 5. Literally, like, I finished everything in Far Cry 5, including side missions, prepper stashes, Clutch Nixon challenges, all that sort of stuff, and then obviously the main story. And I was really disappointed with the ending. Like really disappointed with how it ended. It feels very much how. So yeah, not a massive fan of that. There's a few inconsistencies in the story that the main storyline that I wasn't massively happy with, I suppose. Overall gameplay was interesting. It was a nice enough way to spend 20 hours, but yeah. God of War, fair play. I don't own a console, so enjoy Battlegrounds, Martin. PeaceBear88 on Twitch. Hi, how you doing? How's your week? Anything interesting techie happen? What's it about here? It's kind of a starting at 8, an hour-long chat, so about 20-ish minutes left, where if you have any tech questions, then you can ask me, and apparently I know stuff, so I can answer them for you. Also just answering lots of other tech questions and chatting with the community. Yeah, PC gaming stuff. Don't know whether to keep the MSI B350 PC Mate I've been using for case reviews for now, or go up to an X470. So as long as the B350 board has had a BIOS update to the latest Giza, you should be able to run it. X470 actually, oh, I did a video on that too. I've got a video coming out on the YouTubes with X470 versus X370, both new chips, old platform, and old platform, and new platform, old chips, to see what the compatibility is. So we'll see what that. I think that's this week actually. Let me move the Twitch chat over a bit. I've been thinking about some music, but I need to find like long royalty-free music that I can leave in the background. Okay, so the Ryzen compatibility video is next Monday, or this Monday coming. So that should be good. And then the streaming video is the Wednesday video. And then the Zotac Mech 1. Already updated. Cool. That's useful. But I would say that the PC Mate board is a pretty value-oriented board, so I would personally say that an X470 board would allow you a little bit more freedom for overclocking and stuff like that, but it should work. And yes, it would be Muzak as opposed to music, indeed. But yeah. Wait a minute. Maybe next week, Peace Bear. Mohammed, I hope you stay safe and hopefully inside. Glad you enjoy the content. Wow, it's only 2 hours ahead in Saudi. Oh, okay, fair play. Thanks, Ish. Opinions on Corsair sleeved cables. Order black and red ones today. Type 4 full kit. Nice one. I mean, sleeve kits definitely look cool, and it's a lot nicer to have your actual power supply cables that come straight out of your power supply sleeved, as opposed to extensions. Because unless you do what I did, which is build a chassis into a desk and then integrate a load of space for just shoving all of your cables underneath, the extensions can be a little bit difficult to manage from the behind, so it should be all right. Some interesting things going on at the ClickTech between ClickTech and PC Tech Hub. The good old cable shove. I know it well. Indeed. It's funny, on the more budget cases, like the cheaper the case you buy, generally speaking, the less room you have for cable management. I remember building in a, what were they called? Sharkoon, that's the one. A pretty cheap Sharkoon case, and it had holes for cable management, but they weren't big enough to fit anything through. So yeah, I didn't cable manage that, or I didn't backwardly cable manage that because I basically couldn't. Thermaltake Core V1, nice case for £30. Oodles of Space 2. That's the cube case, right? With plastic on multiple sides, right? Hello, Squashy. Yeah. A friend built a system in it a number of years ago. It's an impressive case for its size. The only problem that I have with cube cases is that they take up a really big footprint for the hardware that you can fit in them, and stuff like the Dan case, which I know is a lot more expensive, but I guess just would be nice to have less of a footprint for the size of chassis. But that's personal preference. The Bitfinex Porto is probably the worst offender for size of case versus hardware you can fit in it. Yeah. I'm glad cases now seem to have more space behind the Mobo tray. So cables sometimes fit there, almost out of the way. Yes, almost. It can be close. Depends. As I said, the budget the budget you spend in the case does mean a fair bit these days. But yeah. Extensions are better if you have a hidden PSU, as you can change the extensions for less when you want a new color theme. Very true. And if you have a lot of space in your rig and you don't mind having that extra, that much cable, then yeah, it's all good. In theory, for stuff like the EPS 8-pin for the CPU power connector at the top, in theory, having an extension means that you can more better cable manage that round the side and the back, as opposed to just cutting across the rear of your motherboard. So yeah. Landon, I'm not qualified to talk on that topic, considering A, I'm Scottish, B, no idea, C, I'm Scottish. More better. Indeed. Oh, you're close, Kev. Close. Nice one, Starman. Yeah. Also, Liam, you should be able to click on his middle mouse button, click on his username in chat, and you should be able to go to it. Go to his account. But yeah, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I don't know much about the Lanely cases in general. So yeah, too sure. Cameron, hi, how you doing? How's things? Anything interesting techie happen? Don't need anyone else to sub to him now. Indeed, that's it. Subscription closed. Boy. The other symptom, if you like, of the stomach problems is incredible fatigue. I go from being perfectly fine to like knocked out in not a lot of time, so apologies if I seem, you know, tired or so. 2001 A Click Odyssey. God damn it. Just switch my boo. There we go. Cool. Oh yeah, the other video that's coming out this week is the Asus Crosshair 7 Hero. So you can take a look at that tomorrow on the YouTubes. Nice one, super user. Keep at it, as always. Yeah, it was pretty strange. I've been looking at my analytics, and I moved out of my parents' house and called this a full-time job at 7,000 subscribers. Personally, I don't recommend that, but by the end of that year, I had 25,000, and this year, I'm now, well, year to year, I went up another 10,000, so I'm hoping that goes up a little bit further. I'm trying to, yeah, do some interesting videos that will make it work. But yeah, it'd be nice to grow a little bit faster. Mikey, how's your GH5 going? Very well. I'm very happy with it. The only thing that issue that I have with it is currently just with the fact that I'm using a Metabone speed booster, the 0.64, and the EF mount, but Tamron 18 to 17 to 50, I think it is, f2.8. But with the Metabone speed booster, it gets dropped to 1.8, which means really nice depth of field on a nice lens. But for, I think I bought the lens used, so like £100, which is great. Indeed, Ishin. Thanks, Kev. Kind words. When your eyes are totally bloodshot. Yeah. That was the thing. Hi Monax, how you doing? Don't know why you ain't into. Is that 10,000? So lens you would recommend then? Actually, that's the only one that I still use. I haven't tried any Micro Four Thirds lenses yet. I have been looking, but there's not one that's really grabbed my attention as one that would be significantly better than the one I have. I should probably clarify, the problem that I have with it is just that because the sensor is stabilized and therefore the sensor moves around in the camera, because of the speed booster and the fact that I'm not using a Micro Four Thirds lens, I'm using an EF lens, there's a little bit of vignetting on the edges, especially with fast side-to-side movement, which can be a little bit of a problem, but yeah. Martin says he uses the Sigma 18-35, and that's probably the one that I would get next. But yeah, we'll see. But I don't think they do a Micro Four Thirds version of that, so that will still be an EF mount lens. Although saying that, with a 0.64 adapter, a 1.8 lens would be... Can someone tell me? What's the math on that? But yeah, really impressive. Very depth of fieldy. Long time no chat over here. I'm doing fine. How are you? I am mixed. I yeah, have some very much sickness and incredibly fatigued, but yeah, not terrible. I use MePhone. Is that the brand, or is that like you use your phone to watch this? And hi Dan. Cameron Weston, you streamed a couple of days ago without sound. Yes, that was for the Ryzen versus Intel streaming tests, and I forgot to enable sound. I did tweet that the sound was, or I did tweet that the streams were not intended to be watched necessarily, purely just because they are for testing purposes and not for thing. But yeah, I forgot to re-enable the sound on OBS, but it doesn't matter too much. Apologies if you sat for a long time watching me play games badly and then abruptly stop with no warning or sound. My apologies. Neil, you got a Ryzen 1700, but it can only get 3.8 gigahertz stable. Posted this in Discord. Yeah, so I mean, what voltage are you using there, Neil? Enjoy what it? Yeah, that's kind of the feeling I have about the 4K on the OnePlus. It's nice and it's a nice bump up, but I don't know that I care that much about it over anything else. Although it does look pretty good, just not DSLR quality. S9 Plus does have the fancy aperture though, which is cool. Um, 1.3 volts. That's pretty low. Try 1. My current overclock on my 1700X is 1.375, I think. But anything up to 1.4, I'd be fairly happy recommending. So definitely try, yeah, like 1.35, 1.375, I think depending on the granularity, 1.85, that's kind of thing, and just see how high the voltage has to go to get it stable further. So yeah. Ow. Sorry for kneeing the table again. I'd say 1080p most people use on mobiles to watch YouTube. Yeah, the 4K for the GH5 is nice because it means that I get extra cropping room and also just really nice looking content. With there's some exception, or there's some nice other benefits, like The sensor is just generally improved from my last camera, bigger batteries and same number of batteries, but whatever. Easier access, really easy access to the SD cards because there's 2 of them, and you can do backup writes, or you can do one and then the next one kind of thing, overflow writes. So there's a lot of flexibility that the camera has. So yeah. Got to ask, Ryzen 2700X stock cooler and settings sufficient to get a 4.1, 4.2 gigahertz OC? So that's basically stock, so yeah. But personally, with the 2700X, I wouldn't bother overclocking it. I don't know that you can really get that far with it. I mean, feel free to try, but yeah, the stock cooler that comes with the Wraith Prism is what it's called now. That one's cool. It does a pretty decent job. It's basically the same as something like a Hyper 212 Evo, so yeah. You should be alright. But again, I'd probably just leave it as stock because it'll auto overclock itself to 4.3 single core and 4.4 to 4.2 all cores. Or yeah, so no worries, RJ. And Cameron Weston, which gaming monitor would you prefer, or do you prefer for shooter games? So personally, I have the AOC G2460 PQU. That is the one that is right there, like you can't quite hear it, but it's the one that's the literally right here. It's the one I'm reading your comment from. So that one is pretty great. I don't think they sell it much anymore. The PF, which is the FreeSync version, is kind of the replacement for it, and therefore that one. In an ideal world, a 4040p, so actually that monitor, the Asus PG279Q, that one is really nice. That one's also pretty good too, because ultrawides are great because you give you an extra perspective advantage. You get kind of that much extra space on your side of your screen, and that's 100 Hz. That's the XG35VQ, if I remember rightly. That one's nice. The AOC version of that, the AG35 to something, that's also pretty nice. It depends on what your budget is though, Cameron. I'm trying to get 3.8 gigahertz plus, try different voltages, but I go above 1.35 volts, it clocks down to 1.5 gigahertz. What motherboard are you using? What temperatures are the VRMs, and what temperatures are is the CPU? I can't remember with the 1700 non-X, and also XFR is only single core-ish, so if he's got a 3.8 all-core, then that's definitely better. Man, how do you remember all the model numbers? It's kind of funny because I think like I hear other people talking about that sort of thing, and I can't fathom how they can know all of this information or these model numbers or whatever. And then I go, oh yeah, that's a PG278Q, that's a AOC U202879VF, that's a BenQ GL2450HM, that's HH221 DPB from Hanji. It's just when you say those things so often, when you're talking about them, recommending them, and that sort of thing, they get burned into your brain apparently. Yeah. Einstein, I'm literally about to go to bed. Glad you could sort of make it though. That's pretty strange, Neil. I would use something like a hardware monitor to check the VRM temperatures and make sure that they're not too heavy. Are you ever going to upgrade to a 10-bit monitor or 4K? I actually used to have one. The BL2711U from BenQ. I used to use that on my desk, which was 4K 10-bit, and I would occasionally game on that, as well as edit on it, and that was really nice. So that was both. I've tried to do a fair few things with changing out this setup, but with the monitor arm that I currently have, it just doesn't really work. So, yeah, it's mostly a case of change the monitor arm first, and then go from there. I think if I could change the monitor arm, I would have an ultra wide in the center, second rotated 1080p on this side, with then another 1080p above, and then a second rotated 1080p on the side. So I'd basically take my current setup, move the central one up, rotate the two on the side, and put the ultra wide in the middle, and that would be how I'd have it. But the current monitor arm, I can't do that. So yeah. What's your overclock? F7. $32 petabytes of RAM. Yeah, that'd be great. Oh, okay, fair play. Yeah, I don't know that I got much further myself. Yeah, it's probably a point to mention that, Neil, you may not... Oh, 3.7? Oh, right, sorry. You've maxed it at 3.9, but usually 3.7. Got you. Yeah, so personally I run at 3.8 because temperatures versus voltage, versus clock speed and performance, with my 1700X. But the thing that I would mention is the 1700 is binned as not chip that is not as good as 1700X or 1800X. So I would say that there may just be a physical limitation with your chip that it can't go above 3.8. So yeah, chat about it in the Discord. You may have done, Stein. Don't know. But yeah, I'm incredibly tired. So I'm gonna catch you guys later. Catch you guys next week, same time as always. Wife is overclocked. Yeah, as I said, same time next week, 8 PM UK time. And yeah, hope you had a good stream, I guess. We'll catch you later. Thanks, Kev. It's probably going to take a few more days. Yeah. Right, how do I stop? I stop on YouTube first, and then... Okay. See you guys.